everyone. Today we are here with another very important topic of mathematics for boards, that is 12th standard, and that is binomial probability distribution. Now this topic is important for both maths and applied maths, right? So today we'll be taking the concept explanation, and after that we'll be moving on with the R.D. Sharma exercise solutions, and then I'll be called giving you step by step marking scheme also with the solutions of the questions, right? So सबसे important क्या है यहाँ पे concept explanation. If you understand the concept once, then you are able to do it very easily, right? So now let's start with the concepts now. So now here first let's understand what is the meaning of this word binomial. You all know what binomial means. We have done it in polynomials also. So here binomial means the same thing. Binomial means two terms polynomial. Okay, so now here we have, because probability, therefore here it will be related to outcomes. So now here binomial means that there are two possible outcomes for something. That is, either we are going to get this or we are not going to get this. तो जब भी किसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में ध्यान रखिए, दो ही आउटकम्स हैं, या तो ये आएगा या नहीं आएगा. Then that is known as binomial distribution. Always, right? Three possibilities नहीं होनी चाहिए. Blue भी, black भी, white भी आ रहा है. And along with this first condition, there are other characteristics also that we will discuss one by one. The first thing is binomial means two. Correct? So binomial probability distribution means you have only two things with you, two outcomes. No, two results. That is, either you succeed or either you fail. Correct? Either you get this or either you don't get this. Suppose a company is there which is manufacturing some items, right? So now if they are manufacturing item A, correct, only, so either you will get item A if you're taking it out or not. Correct? Now the point is, if they are manufacturing item A and item B, so the probability of getting B and A will be different depending on what, how much is the production. So item A या तो आएगा या नहीं आएगा, because 100% items में से या तो आपके पास 75% A है और 25% B, टोटल मिला के तो 100% ही है ना आपके पास. So probability of A, if someone is asking you, then that will be what? Suppose 3 by 4, if you take 75%, what will be probability of not A? That will be 1 by 4. Because there are two possible outcomes और दोनों मिला के total 100% है. So if we take a very simple example of coin which you have been doing since years, so there could be two possible outcomes, head or tail. तो कोई भी आप टेस्ट लोगे तो दो ही रिजल्ट आ सकते हैं, या तो आप पास हो गए या आप फेल हो गए, या आप सक्सेस हो गए या आपका फेलियर होगा. So such distribution is known as binomial probability distribution. But as I said, this is the only first case. That is, you have two possible outcomes. Either you succeed or either you fail. But there are other characteristics which are to be noticed before starting with the questions. पहली चीज, the number of observations n. Here in all the questions we'll be taking the number of observations with small n, that is total. आपने एक डाइस लिया अगर, so डाइस को आपने कितनी बार रोल आउट किया? Suppose I said 15 times, so n will be what? 15. Each observation is independent. That is, if you take a die, आप उसको 10 बार फेंको, 100 बार फेंको, 50 बार फेंको, nothing is going to change. If the probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6 in the first out case, it will remain 1 by 6 in all the 100 cases. It will remain 1 by 6 in all the 50 cases. So it's not going to change. So each observation is independent of the other. कुछ इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ रहा है कि आप कितनी बार उसको रोल डाउन कर रहे हो. Now each observation represents one of the two, either success or failure. That is very important, because इनमें से अगर कोई भी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो रहा है, so then that is not the case of binomial distribution. So each observation represents one of the two outcomes, success, failure. वन आया, सपोज हमने डाई को रोल डाउन किया, हमारा सक्सेस है वन लाना. सो वन अगर आया तो इट्स अवर सक्सेस. इफ यू डोंट गेट वन, इट्स अवर फेलियर. So probability of 1 will be what in the case of die if I simply ask you 1 by 6. What is your failure probability? Getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is your failure probability. That will be what? 5 by 6. But this will be independent. This will not change in any of the outcome. It will remain the same. And either you will get 1 or not. So two possible outcomes. And the probability of success, which will be denoting with P in all the cases, it will remain same for each outcome. So as I said, probability of getting the one will not change in any of the outcome. चाहे आप 10 बार डाई को रोल कराइए, चाहे आप 100 times कराइए, चाहे आप 1000 times कराइए. So these are the four characteristics of binomial. So Just think of these four characteristics before starting your question. ये अगर सेटिस्फाई होता है, आप आराम से क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करिए. और बायनोमियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का जो फॉर्मूला है, दैट्स वेरी वेरी इजी स्टूडेंट्स. सो इट विज रियली 100% फुल स्कोरिंग टॉपिक. बट क्योंकि हमें कंडीशंस में नहीं क्लियर होता है, तो इसलिए हम एग्जाम में एरर करते हैं. Clear to all? So this is the topic which is there, as I said, in maths and applied maths both. So this is a very very important topic. और अभी competency based questions case studies के लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा important हो जाता है. 100% in exam you are going to get the question from this topic, both in maths and applied maths. Okay. Now let's move on to other thing, that is two important parameters of binomial distribution. This is very important क्योंकि अभी competency based questions आने लग गए हैं. एनसीईआरटी में डायरेक्ट ये वर्ड नहीं दिया है, बट एग्जाम में दे आर आस्किंग. करेक्ट. अप्लाइड मैथ्स में यस वी डू हैव इट इन एमएल अग्रवाल, आर डी शर्मा, एवरीवेयर. द टू पैरामीटर्स व्हिच डिफाइन अ बायनोमियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. सो द बायनोमियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन is characterized by two parameters, the number of independent trials and the probability of success, P. So as I said, N we will be taking as a total number of trials in all the cases that we are going to do, and the probability of success everywhere we will take it with small p. So how do you denote this? We denote this with simply N comma P. So if anywhere they ask you to write the two parameters, so first will be the total number of trials and the other will be the success probability. That is, अगर मुझे डाई में 1 चाहिए, जो हमने एग्जाम्पल से स्टार्ट किया, so here n will be what, कितनी बार आप थ्रो कर रहे हैं डाई को, and p will everywhere be 1/6 because the probability of getting 1 is 1/6, right? So binomial distribution formula helps to check the probability of getting X success in n independent trials of a binomial experiment. Now what does it mean? Now here it means, suppose I have thrown the die 15 times, okay? So now my n will be 15. Now if I ask you what is the probability of getting exactly 2 times 1? Exactly 2 times 1 मतलब बाकी 13 times कुछ और आएगा, but exactly 2 times I want 1. Correct. So now here my x will be what? 2. I repeat, x is probability of getting success. How many times you want success? 2 times I want success. Exactly 2 times. So my x will be 2 in this case. Okay. So if I just write it here, just for the understanding, x will be 2. N will be what? 15 if I am taking 15. And my p will be what? 1/6. Correct. So everywhere we are denoting the success probability with 1/6. P. Now for the failure probability, that is you are not getting 1, which will be denoted everywhere by Q. So Q का probability क्या हो जाएगा यहाँ पे 5/6, because if you are not getting 1, you are going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5/6. Now remember one very important relation, that is P plus Q will always going to be 1. Always. Remember. Correct? So if you have the relation between P and Q as P plus Q is equal to 1, you can find the value of the success and the failure if any one of it is given. So Q को हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? 1 minus P as well. Correct? Remember, I repeat again, in binomial distribution, there are only two cases, success or failure. If you are given the probability of success in the question, you can easily find the probability of failure because the sum of the two will be always 1. Why will it be 1? क्योंकि सारे cases cover होते हैं किसी experiment के लिए अगर, so then the sum of all the events के probability is always 1. Now let's come to the formula. Now, binomial distribution formula. So there are different ways of writing it. So let's discuss the first way. So the first says NCX. Now what is C here? C is combination. Remember, CNCR. If you all remembered, you have done this combination in 11th standard. So NCR means combination, where N is total number of trials, R is, as I said, your success probability, right? Here we are denoting with x, so that is my success की probability. मुझे अगर n 15 है, as we have just taken an example, my x is 2 in this particular case of example. Now that gives you ncx p raised to x. P raised to x means p is success probability, that is 1/6 raised to 2 बन जाएगा वो, and then 1 minus p means probability of failure, that is q I am talking about, and that will become 15 minus 2, that is n minus x. So हमने जो example लिया, अगर उसके लिए हम लिखे, so what will I get? 15c2, your p is 1 by 6 raised to 2 and your q is 5 by 6 raised to 13. Remember, powers का sum हमेशा n के equal होना चाहिए. अगर नहीं है, that is where you have made some mistake. Okay, so just take care of that. Okay, so binomial distribution is a very simple formula. Everywhere in all the formula, we are going to use the same. Okay, in all the questions. Now, what is combination ka formula? All of you have done combination. What is NCR ka formula? If you don't know that, you are going to face the problem. So the formula I have written here is factorial n upon factorial r into factorial n minus r. I write it once again for you all separately. Factorial n upon factorial r, factorial n minus r. This is the formula of NCR. So that is what I have written in the next one, right? So now this formula is same, but the only difference is in place of x, I have taken r because in most of the 99% books, r is written everywhere. So NCR ka formula I have written p raised to r, as I told you, it is going to be the number of trials you are getting a success, and 1 minus p, that is equal to q raised to n minus r. So it's a very simple formula. Now let's move on to the very important thing now, the terms related to binomial distribution. Now the important term related to binomial distributions are mean, variance and standard deviation. Now can anyone tell me what's the other name for mean? The other name for mean is expected value. ओके, सो इसको हम रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं एक्सपोनेंशियल ex से. So mean, variance and standard deviation, these are the three important terms. For a binomial distribution, mu का formula and then variance का formula and then standard deviation का formula. Now this is very important, very important. Competency based questions के लिए important है ये. स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन को आप कई जगह देखिए, केस स्टडीज के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एमसीक्यूज के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत ज्यादा. बोर्ड में अप्लाइड मैथ्स में 2 साल से 100% वी आर गेटिंग द क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन दिस. ओके, जस्ट मूव ऑन विद दैट. So just go with the tricks, very simple tricks that I will be telling you to solve these questions. So if I just say the first one is for the mean, second one, as I have written, it's for variance. And the third one is for standard deviation. So mean is n into p. Very simple formula, right? N is total number of trials. P is success probability. Then variance is NPQ. That is the product of total number of trials, success probability and failure probability. And same way standard deviation, as we know, it's a square root of variance every time, right? So that is square root of NPQ. Now these three relations are very important. They have not been given in the NCRT. So please note it down carefully, right? It helps you in solving the questions very easily. No need to go with a long method, that is sigma pi xi. Of course, we can use this, but that's very lengthy to solve. You're going to get same answer with this also, right? Expected value का आपने formula पढ़ा है, random distribution में पढ़ा है, correct? So that is very important. Correct? Clear to all? It's very important for competitive exams and everywhere. We get questions on this. Now let's move on to the questions. Now let's start. There are 6 defective items in a large bulk of items, right? हमारे पास 6 defective items है in a large bulk of time. Now find the probability that sample of 8 items which will include not more than 1 defective items. Now probability that a sample of 8 items will not include more than 1 defective item. Now this is very important. Not more than 1. Not more than 1 मतलब हमारे पास कितने defective items हो सकते हैं? Just try to think of it. Right? So हमारे पास कितने x random variables क्या possible है defective items के लिए? तो 0 defective item या फिर 1 defective item, right? We cannot have more than 1. So either we can have 0. Yes, 0 will also come. So no defective item or 1. Now if I ask you what is the probability of defective items, that will be what? 6%. Correct? Because 6% is given to you. Now what will be? This will be your success probability. That is P. Okay? Now there are going to be Non-defective items. If we go with this, so non-defective items will be how many now probability, though they have not given, but किसी एक बॉक्स में या तो डिफेक्टिव आइटम्स होंगे या नॉन डिफेक्टिव. अगर डिफेक्टिव 6% है, so what will be the probability of non defective? 94%. So this will be your Q. That is, you are not getting defective item. So this is what I mean when I said कि P plus Q is always going to be 1. So Q is always 1 minus P. Right? This is what I said. So 6% अगर defective item आने का probability है, so non-defective item आने का probability is 1 minus 6%, which is 94%. Now N is given what? Total sample में कितने हैं? 8. Now our R is what? Our X is, small x is what? This is our R values, 0 and 1. So it should not include more than one defective item, means we have, see, the way of writing is given by this. हमें इन दो केसेस को ऐड करना है, where we are going to write probability of x is equal to 0, that is your R is going to be 0, and probability of x is equal to 1, that is one defective item. Now in all these cases we are going to use the same formula which we just discussed, as CR P raised to R Q n minus R. Everywhere all the formulae, all the questions that we have is based on this one. So now here Px is equal to 0. So it means your 8C0 P raised to R. Okay, so P is what? 6% raised to 0. Correct. And here you have 94% raised to 8. I said the sum of the powers should be 8. So 0 plus 8 is 8. That should be equal to n. Remember, that's a very simple trick so that you don't make any error. Okay? Sometimes in hurry we make the errors. So if this is 1, what should be the power of the other one? 7. Very good. Correct? So is the 0 defective item or 1 defective item? Now what is the value of 8C0? 8C0 NC0 का वैल्यू क्या होता है? 1 होता है always. Always. Correct? So we know that formula. Okay? Or otherwise if you want to write it, you can write 8C0 will be what? Factorial 8 upon factorial 0 into 8 minus 0, which is 8. So this is 1. Always. So now 1 into 94 by 100 raised to 8. Right? Because any base raised to 0 is 1. So now 8C1 will always be 8. You can note it down. NC1 is always N. Always. Correct? Remember. Now 6 by 100 into 94 by 100 raised to 7. Now let's solve it in a very simple way. We are not going to calculate 94 raised to 8 or 94 raised to 7. We will just take it common and keep our answer like that only. Okay, now if I take it common, what will be left here? 194 by 100 plus 8 6 are 48 upon 100. Now this will be our answer. We will simply solve the bracket and nothing else. So 0.94 raised to 7. And if I add both of them, what will get? 8 4 is 12 and then 194. So we get 142 upon 100 by 1. Okay, now this is the answer. So 1.42 into 0.94 raised to 7, that's our final answer. So these questions are not tough at all, just based on one simple formula, NCR PR Q raised to n minus R. Right, so this is the formula for Px is equal to R. Remember, in all the questions of binomial you are going to use the same. I hope this question is clear to all. So let's move on to the next. अगर सबको clear हो गया है, so let's move on to the next question. Now, a coin is tossed 5 times, and now what is the probability of getting at least 3 heads? Now that is very important word, at least. At least means always it is going to be minimum. So minimum 3 times we want heads. So what will be our possible numbers of heads that we want? Our possible number of heads will be 3, 4 and 5. Correct? Because we want at least 3 times we want heads. Correct? So we can get the heads 3 times, 4 times and 5 times. Right? So that is what our point is here. Now a coin is tossed 5 times. So in all our n will be what? 5. Now what is the probability of getting a head? Which is our success probability, that is P. So probability of getting a head is always 1 by 2, as we all know. So probability of not getting a head, that is the probability of getting a tail. which you say, or in simple words, not getting ahead, which is our failure. That is, we are not getting ahead. So that will be what? 1 by 2. Now here, this is a question where the probability of success is equal to probability of failure. Now students, remember, in such type of questions we can solve very easily in a very simple way. Okay, now this is the first question. I will be writing the step. But if it is an MCQ and all, how will you do? So I'll tell you a very simple thing for this. Now first let's write the formula. So Px is equal to R is NCR, P raised to R, Q raised to N minus R. Now what is N? 5. What is P and Q? 1 by 2, 1 by 2. What is R? 3, 4 and 5 as we have written here. Okay? Because it is at least 3 heads. Now here we get R ke 3 values. So all will has to be added. Correct? All 3 cases. Now let's write the values first. Okay, I write it directly. 5C3, 1 by 2 raised to 3, 1 by 2 raised to 2. 5C4, 1 by 2 raised to 4 and 1 by 2 raised to 1. And here you get 5C5, 1 by 2 raised to 5 and 1 by 2 raised to 0. Now remember, the powers should add up to 5 here because n is 5. Remember that. Okay, don't make any error in the hassle. Ki right here, fatafat karte. No. Now if you see here, all the way, all the 3 terms, the power is 5 for 1 by 2. So I can take 1 by 2 raised to 5 common. No need to calculate individual values, students. Remember, you can simply take it common. Now just calculate the values of combination. Now I repeat the formula for the combination. Factorial n, so factorial 5, factorial 3 and factorial 5 minus 3 will come. So what will it be? 5 into 4 into factorial 3. Factorial 3 cancels out. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Factorial is 2. So what do we get? 10. Similarly, 5C4, as I said, it will be equal to 5C1. Now that is going to be 5 always, and 5C5 will be 1. Now let's substitute all the values. 2 raised to 5 is 32. Okay, so now let's write 10 here we get, then here we get 5, and then here we get 1. Just check everyone. Is it clear or not? Right, so that's a very simple now. 16 by 32, that is 1 by 2 is the answer. Right, so it's a question on MCQs for, and it's a question on the tossing of a coin. Correct? So this is how do we go. So these words, at least, not more than, at most, they are very important for our calculations. Okay, clear to all? Now let's move on to the next. Now a coin is tossed again 5 times. What is the probability that tail appears odd number of times? Now here the tail, they are saying it appears odd number of times. And again the coin is tossed 5 times. Okay, so your n will be what? 5. Clear? Your n will be what? 5. I write n is equal to 5. Now they are saying the probability of appearing of tail. So probability of getting a tail is what in the case of coin? Half. There is no change in this. Now what is the probability of not getting a tail? That will also be 1 by 2 because अगर tail नहीं आएगा तो head आएगा और head का probability भी क्या होता है 1 by 2. So this will be your P now and this will be your Q now. Now what about the R? Odd number of times. Just read this word odd numbers. 1, आपका जो R है वो 0 से start होता है. 0 से 5 के बीच में कितने odd numbers आते हैं? We all know. So R will be what? 1, 3 and 5. R will be what? 1, 3 and 5. So that's very important thing, odd number of times. So we are going to count out those numbers where tail will appear 1 time, 3 times and 5 times. Again the 3 cases are to be added. Again the probability of success and failure is same. So again simple calculations. Okay. So now let's do it. 3 cases we are adding here. ठीक है, थोड़ा समझ के लीजिए, आपके लिए बहुत इजी हो जाएगा, एमसीक्यू में भी आएगा. सो आई वुड एवरीवेयर एडवाइस यू डू अटेम्प्ट these questions. You will never be landing up with the wrong answer. Just go with the simple techniques. Now 5C1, again 1 by 2 raised to 1, 1 by 2 raised to 4, and here again 5C3 will come, again 1 by 2 raised to 3, 1 by 2 raised to 2, and here again 5C5 will come. Now see, your speed will automatically increase. Right? Now again 1 by 2 raised to 5 is common. So 5C1, 5C3, 5C5. अरे तो सेम ही डिजिट्स आ गए हमारे पास. करेक्ट. तो अभी हमारा आंसर भी सेम आएगा. यस. Because this is 1, 5 and this is what 10 and this is what 1. So we are going to get the answer 1 by 2. So here we are going to get the same thing because टेल और हेड दोनों का प्रोबेबिलिटी 1/2 होता है. नंबर ऑफ ट्राइज वर सेम एंड और नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स वी सेड सो 1, 3 और 5 के 3 केसेस विल बी एडेड. Clear to all? Now let's move on to the next. Now this is a question of dice, pair of dice. Okay, so two dice are there. So now pair of dice is thrown 6 times. 6 times. So what is 6? 6 is your end. Correct. Very good. 6 is your end. Now if getting a total of 9 is considered a success, what is the probability of getting at least 5 success? Now here again we have the word at least. At least means what will be our R? At least means minimum, as I said. So either you will get a total of 9 5 times or 6 times. Minimum 5 times. Okay. Now total of 9. Okay. पहले तो ये बताइए कि एक जब हमारे पास कोई एक्सपेरिमेंट होता है रोलिंग 2 डाइस टुगेदर, टोटल कितने आउटकम्स बनते हैं हमारे पास? फटाफट फटाफट बोलिए. यस 36. वेरी गुड. सो नाउ गेटिंग अ टोटल ऑफ 9. 9 का मतलब टोटल ऑफ 9 क्या क्या आउटकम्स पॉसिबल है जल्दी बताइए. या तो 3 आएगा और 6 आएगा या तो उसका रिवर्स भी पॉसिबल है. 4 आएगा या 5 आएगा, दोनों का सम 9 होता है तो 5 4 भी पॉसिबल है. क्या कोई और आउटकम पॉसिबल है? बिल्कुल नहीं पॉसिबल है बिकॉज वी नीड अ सम ऑफ 9. राइट. 1/8 तो हो नहीं सकता, डाइस है. वी जस्ट हैव द नंबर्स फ्रॉम 1 to 6. सो नाउ टोटल आउटकम्स कितने होते हैं? टोटल आउटकम्स आर 36. यस. नाउ टेल मी व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग 9? चलिए बताइए. प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग 9, some 9 I mean. So now total outcomes are 36. In your favor, how many outcomes are there? 4. So 4 by 36. That comes out 1 by 9. So what is the probability? So this will be a success probability, P. Okay. Now what is the probability of not getting some 9? ऑटोमेटिकली क्या बन जाएगा? 8/9. मैम आपको कैसे पता? आपने सारे आउटकम्स लिखे. अरे हमने आपको फॉर्मूला बताया है, क्यू का वैल्यू क्या होता है? 1 माइनस पी. कुछ भी हमने कैलकुलेट नहीं किया, हमने आपको बोला 1/9. अब 1/9 अगर वो है तो वो कितना हो गया? 8/9. और अगर आप सोचिए 4 केसेस में 9 आ रहा है तो कितने केसेस में 9 नहीं आएगा? सब 32 केसेस में. So 32 by 36 that will give you 8/9 also. Now your n is 6. Now two cases of r are there, 5 and 6. Okay, so now what will be your probability? दोनों केसेस को ऐड करना. करेक्ट. सक्सेस 5 और 6 के लिए है. नाउ लेट्स मेक द केसेस. टोटल केसेस हमारे पास 6 है, सो 65. नाउ हियर यू हैव टू बी अ लिटिल बिट केयरफुल, but calculations are simple. Okay, now 1 by 5 raised to 9, 8 by 9 raised to 6. 1. Total 6 होना चाहिए. Now here you get 66. Okay, now 1 by 4, sorry 9 raised to 6 and 8 by 9 raised to 0. Just check everyone. Clear? Now, what is the value of 65? Now, remember, students, there is one important thing. NCA, I tell you a very important trick. NCA is equal to NCB. कब किस केस में होता है? जब A plus B is equal to N. This is a very, very important property of combinations. और ये हमें यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा यूजफुल होती है. क्योंकि अगर आपके पास जैसे 65 है, 65 will be equal to what? 61. And I have told you NC1 is always the number, that is 6. Correct. 66 will always be 1. So 65, 61 both have the same values. So this will be resulting to what? 6 into 8. और यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएगा? 9 raised to 6. No need to calculate right now. Okay. Now plus 61 will be 1. यहाँ पे भी 9 raised to 6 आ जाएगा. That's it. Correct. Now, so what will you get the answer? 49, because if I take the LCM, 9 raised to 6. Just check. We are not going to calculate it. Okay. We are going to leave it like this because it takes a lot of time. You will see the options And if in option they have calculated, then you will calculate. Otherwise, you can leave your answer here. Okay? So, right, clear to all? Now, let's do it the next. A fair coin is tossed 8 times. जब भी coin आता है ना, I'm very happy because they are very easy questions. Dice they are very easy. Cards they are very easy. So these things are very very easy because आपको क्या होता है, cases already पता होते हैं कि अरे वाह ये तो बहुत simple सा case है. A fair coin is tossed 8 times. Now, what is the probability of exactly 5 heads, at least 6 heads, at the most 6 heads? Now, here exactly, at least, and at most. All three words are given to you, which are really important for understanding. Let's take the cases one by one. Now, heads ka cases hai. So, probability of getting a head is 1 by 2, which will be our success. Very good. Not getting head will be what? Again 1 by 2, which will be our failure. That is Q, Q, Q. Correct, correct. Right? Now, what is your N? N is 8. And R is different in all the three cases. That we will write according to the cases. Now, let's do the first case. Now, here R is what? Exactly 5. So, our R is 5 here. So, exactly 5 hits. Okay? Now, only one case is here. We have to calculate the probability when x is equal to 5. So 6 is our, 8 is our n. So 8C5. Okay, exactly 5 hits. 1 by 2 raised to 5, 1 by 2 raised to 8 minus 5, which becomes, now 8C5 का वैल्यू कैलकुलेट कर ले एक बार. चलिए कर लेते हैं एक बार. Factorial 8 up, student, this is also the symbol of factorial. Okay, एक्सक्लेमेटरी मार्क भी होता है और ये भी होता है, दोनों सिंबल्स होते हैं. 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 factorial. 5 factorial cancels out. 3 factorial. 3 factorial क्या होता है? 6. So 8 sevens are, now you know it's 56 into 1 upon 32 into 1 upon 8 minus 3, 8. Right? So what do we get? We just cancel it out now. 8 सरेगा, ये तो बहुत सिंपल हो गया. 7 upon 32. Just check. Exactly 5 hits. 7 upon 32. Now the second case, let's take at least 6. At least 6 heads means how many cases will come? Minimum 6. So R will be what? 6, 7, and 8. Right? That's a simple thing that you have to do. So at least 6 heads means 6, 7, and 8. So if I do it, 8C6, 8C7 और 8C8. ठीक है, अब देखिए हम थोड़ा सा डायरेक्ट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमने ऑलरेडी ये पहले भी किया है. तो हम क्यों ये सब एक साथ लिख दिया मैम? ये तो पूरा फॉर्मूला ही नहीं बना. क्या कॉमन होगा सब में? 1 by 2 raised to 8. डू यू ऑल रिमेम्बर वी डिड इट इन द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन? राइट? हम 1 by 2 raised to 8 को कॉमन ले सकते हैं क्योंकि सब क्वेश्चंस में ये 1 by 2 raised to 8 कॉमन आएगा. सिर्फ क्या चेंज हो जाएगा? एनसीआर. एक केस में आर 5 है, दूसरे 6 है, एक में 7 है और एक में क्या है? 8. सो वी आर गोइंग टू ऐड ऑल ऑफ देम. राइट? नाउ लेट्स कैलकुलेट द वैल्यूज. 8C6 का वैल्यू कैलकुलेट कर लेते हैं. 8C6 विल बी 8 फैक्टोरियल, 6 फैक्टोरियल एंड 2 फैक्टोरियल. राइट? सो 8 into 7 into फैक्टोरियल 6 कट हो जाएगा 2. सो 7 4 जा कितना होता है? 28. 8C7 तो अभी सबको पता है कितना है? 8. 8C8 भी सबको पता है. Now what is 2 raised to 8? ये भी आप सबको पता है, 256. What's the answer now? 28 plus 9, जल्दी से कैलकुलेट करिए और अपना अपना आंसर लिखिए. 37. ओके, और नीचे आपके पास क्या आ जाएगा? सिंपली 256. राइट? दैट इज 2 raised to 8. That's your answer. At least 6 sets. Now the last one is very important. अभी तक हमने एटमोस्ट का कोई केस नहीं किया था. देखिए एटमोस्ट 6 हेड्स मीन्स 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. अरे बाप रे, इतना सारा ऐड करना पड़ेगा? अरे नहीं, बहुत सिंपल सा है. देखिए सारे केसेस अगर हम ऐड करें 0 से लेकर 8 तक, बिकॉज n इज 8, तो सबका प्रोबेबिलिटी का सम कितना होगा? 1. करेक्ट? दैट यू नो रैंडम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन टेबल कि अगर हम सारे रैंडम वैल्यूज की ऐड करते हैं तो प्रोबेबिलिटी का सम हमेशा क्या आना चाहिए? 1 आना चाहिए. तो हम इसको एटमोस्ट 6 हेड्स को क्या लिख सकते हैं? देखिए आई एम राइटिंग इट हियर वेरी क्लियरली. 1 माइनस 2 केसेस. कौन कौन से केसेस हमारे सब्ट्रैक्ट होंगे? एटमोस्ट 6 हेड्स, मतलब मैक्सिमम यू नीड 6. क्या क्या नहीं चाहिए आपको? 7 और 8 का केस नहीं चाहिए. तो आपके पास कौन से दो केसेस सब्ट्रैक्ट होने हैं 1 में से? आई राइट क्लियरली 7 का केस और 8 का केस, ये दोनों केस आपके किस में से सब्ट्रैक्ट होंगे? 1 में से, करेक्ट? सो दैट्स अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन, यू डोंट हैव टू ऐड 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, you can simply add only 7 and 8 और उसको सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दीजिए किस में से? 1 में से सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दीजिए। क्लियर? तो चलिए ये हम छोटा सा सॉल्व कर लेते हैं, यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं इसको थर्ड केस को। ठीक है, तो 1 माइनस नाउ 7 और 8 का केस, तो 8c7 प्लस 8c8 लिख सकते हैं और क्या कॉमन आएगा सब में? 1/2 रेज टू 8। करेक्ट? सो नाउ व्हाट इज 8c7? सबको पता है 8 प्लस 1, 1/2 रेज टू 8, 256। अरे वाह, ये तो बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन हो गया, हमें डर लग रहा था ना करते हुए, अभी देखिए कितना सिंपल क्वेश्चन हो गया। सो इफ यू टेक द एलसीएम व्हाट यू गेट? 256 माइनस 9, 247 एंड दैट्स योर फाइनल आंसर। सो थ्री केसेस, ये तीनों केसेस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत सिंपली यू कैन सॉल्व इट। एग्जैक्टली 5, एटलीस्ट एंड एटमोस्ट, रिमेंबर दीज थ्री वर्ड्स ऑलवेज। क्लियर? नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट। नाउ फाइंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ अ 4 टर्निंग अप एटलीस्ट वंस in two tosses of a fair die. Now there is only one die. Total cases कितने बनेंगे? 6. कितने टॉस कर रहे हैं आप? 2. What is the probability of getting a 4? 1/6. Not getting a 4? 5/6. चलिए फटाफट कर लेते हैं। एटलीस्ट वंस लिखा है, अब बताइए, दो ही टॉसेस हैं, योर एन इज 2, एटलीस्ट वंस, तो कौन से दो केसेस बनते हैं? या तो एक बार आएगा या दो बार आएगा। और दूसरा वे क्या हो सकता है इसको करने का? जल्दी से बताइए। देखिए दो पॉसिबल वेज हैं, या तो हम x इज इक्वल टू 1 और x इज इक्वल टू 2 को ऐड कर दें। दूसरा वे क्या है? बड़ा बड़ा लिख देते हैं और जिससे आपको समझ में आए। क्या बन सकता है? हम 1 में से सिर्फ एक केस को सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दें, x इज इक्वल टू 0। हो गया ना सही? क्योंकि हमारे पास तीन ही केस बनते हैं, 0 1 2। अब आपके लिए जो इजी है आप उससे सॉल्व करिए, या तो आप इस मेथड से सॉल्व करिए या फिर आप इस मेथड से सॉल्व करिए, हमारे लिए तीनों से सेम आंसर आएगा। ठीक है, चलिए। सो n is 2, probability of getting 4, 1/6, probability of, this will be our success, right? Probability of not getting 4, that will be what? 5/6, that is q, राइट? और आर तो हमने लिख ही दिया है ऊपर, या तो 1 और 2 लेंगे या फिर 0 लेंगे। चलिए पहले 1 और 2 से कर ले, ठीक है, फिर बाद में 1 माइनस 0 से करेंगे। साव, चलिए नाउ लेट्स राइट द फॉर्मूला। NCR P रेज टू R Q रेज टू N माइनस R, एक ही फॉर्मूला है जो हर जगह अप्लाई होगा। ओके, रिमेंबर नाउ योर N इज 2C1, 1/6 रेज टू 1, 5/6 रेज टू 1। ओके, प्लस किसको करना है हमें इसमें? 2C2, 1/6 रेज टू 2, 5/6 रेज टू 0। ठीक है, इसको सॉल्व कर लेते हैं। नाउ 2C1, 2, वेरी गुड, अभी सबको याद हो गया है ना? हाँ, नाउ 5/36, बिकॉज 6 6 36, प्लस 2C2 इज 1, ये भी 1, 36, 5/6 रेज टू 0 इज 1। ओके, नाउ लेट्स टेक 36 LCM, सो 10 प्लस 1 विल बी व्हाट? 11। ये आंसर आया अगर हमने 1 और 2 दोनों को ऐड किया। नाउ लेट्स सी इफ वी आर गेटिंग द सेम आंसर विद द सेकंड मेथड आल्सो। सो 1 माइनस 2C0, 1/6 raised to 0, 5/6 raised to 2. Now 1 minus 2C0 is 1, 25 and 36. Now let's take the LCM. So 36 minus 25 is going to be 11/36. क्लियर? दैट इज अवर आंसर। सो दोनों से देखिए हमारा आंसर सेम आ रहा है। आपको जो इजी लगता है उससे करिए, जिसमें कम कैलकुलेशंस हो उससे करिए। दैट इज व्हाई दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू नो द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ 1 माइनस। तो जब भी हमारे पास हमें चेक करना होता है, ठीक है, ये इजी केस था इसलिए हमने दोनों से किया, राइट? तो फर्स्ट केस जो इससे पहले वाला क्वेश्चन था, उसमें पहले वाले केस में अगर हम करते तो बहुत टाइम लगता, बिकॉज 6 cases were to be added. But now here in this question only 1 or 2 cases were to be added or subtracted, so we did with both. Right, now let's move on to the next. A coin is tossed 5 times. What is the probability that head appears even number of times? Now here this is similar to the question that we did of odd number of times. Now coin is tossed 5 times, so this is your n, total number of trials. Now what is the probability of getting a head? That is half, that is your success. Probability of not getting hit, that is q, that is again half. Okay, अब हमारे पास q हो गया, p हो गया, n हो गया, सब हो गया। r चाहिए, r will be what? Even number of times, r will be 0, 2 and 4. Yes, clear? Even number of times 1, 3, 5 नहीं आएगा because they are odd numbers, correct? So now here we have to add these three cases. So now let's frame the question. 5c0, 1 by 2 raised to. Now again, as I said, the powers will be same. Now you know the addition should be 5. So now that becomes 5. I write it directly. No need to write everything. If you want, you can write, but otherwise it will end up with the same thing. ओके एमसीक्यूज के लिए ये शॉर्ट ट्रिक्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं। एमसीक्यूज के लिए डोंट कीप ऑन राइटिंग एवरी स्टेप and then solve it. Do it directly for MCQs. Now, if I take 1 by 2 raised to 5 common, what will I get? 5C0, 5C2, and 5C4. These three will be added up. So 1 by 2, that is 1 by 32. This is 1, and this is going to be 5C2. 5C2 का value calculate करिए. I know, yes, you can do with Pascal's triangle also, those who have understood or you have done it in 11th standard very well. So factorial 5, factorial 3, factorial 2. So 10, right? So 10. Now 5C4 will be 5. Very good. So now it comes out to be 16 by 32, that is 1 by 2. Just check. Clear? Very important is to understand the shortcuts. Because now in MCQs and in case studies, these all are very, very important things. So let's start with the next question now. The probability of a man hitting of target is 1 by 4. If he fires 7 times, what is the probability of his hitting the target at least twice? So at least word is important here. At least twice means 2 and more than 2. At least means minimum 2 times, right? So here we can again use the concept because of 1 minus, because if we take the cases 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that is many times, these many times he can hit the target, right? So otherwise what we can do, we can simply take 1 minus p of x is equal to 0 and p of x is equal to 1. Or you, as I said, you can do 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, all are to be added. So of course the easier one is the first one, so we will solve it the same. Okay, so now here we got 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so these are the possible ways that we can do. So one method, second method. The first one is easier, so we will take that only. Now the probability of a man hitting the target. So probability of hitting the target, and which is going to be our success, right? So that is 1 by 4. Now probability of not hitting, that is q, and that will be 3 by 4, because p and q are related with 1 minus p, that is p plus q is 1. Now n is what? 7. Now let's use the formula. So 1 minus, now p of x is equal to 0, so 7c0, he has not hit the target anyhow, so 3 by 4 raised to 7 will come here, plus 7c1, one time he has hit, 6 times he doesn't hit, so we missed it, right? So 1 minus these two cases to be added. So just think yourself, adding 6 cases or subtracting 2 cases from the one, which will be easier for you. So let's move on with that. Now let's put the values here. This will take a little bit calculations, to do it carefully, students. Okay, now let's go with it. So for these two terms, if I see, we have 3 raised to 4 raised to 6 common, 3 by 4 raised to 6. And here in the first one, we get 3 by 4. And for the second one, we get 7 into 1 by 4. Correct? Now let's solve it. So 3 plus 7, 10 by 4. Okay, now let's solve it very carefully. Okay, so 4 raised to 7 will be the LCM. Here, are you going to solve it? Yes, we are going to solve it. Correct? Now 4 raised to 7 minus 3 raised to 6 is how much, students? Just try to visualize it. 3 raised to 3 is 27. 27 into 27. Yes, 729. Correct. So you get 729 into 10. You get 7290. Now 4 raised to 7 you have to calculate. Let's calculate it. 4 square is 16. 16 and 16. And then you have into 4. So what do we get here? Let me do it. 256. 256 into 64. Right? So we get 4, 2, 2, and then 6, 3, 3. Right? So we get here 16384 minus 7290 upon 16384. Right? Now let's do the subtraction. Which will get a unit number. So if we do the subtraction, what will you get? Let's erase this to make it clearer. So now 16384 into 7290 minus, okay, so 4, then we get 9, then 0, and then we get 9 upon 16384. Let's divide it. 4547, and here we get 8192. So this will be our answer. 4547 upon 8192. Right? So if you add the 6 cases, that will be much lengthier for you. So this is the easier way to solve these questions. Okay, now let's take the next. Now assume that on an average, one telephone number out of 15 called between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. on weekdays will be busy. What is the probability that if 6 randomly selected telephone numbers are called, at least 3 of them will be busy? At least 3 of them. In total, how many are called? 6. So what is your n? Your n is 6. Now at least 3 means 3 of them will be busy. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Now again the important part is which way you want to do. Either you want to do the subtraction or either you want to add up. So if I take the way, yeah, I want to do subtraction, I can write it like this. Right? Or if you want to add up at least 3 of them. So the other way around is this. So of course the first one we find easier because 3 are to be added and then subtracted from 1. And if you want to add 4, you can do that also. Right? Now let's make the equation. Now what is the probability of success? That is busy call. So that will be 1 by 15. Correct? Now here we have large numbers. So we will not calculate the powers, don't worry. So now that will be your P. Now what will be your Q? That is the call will not be busy. Right? So we have 14 by 15. That will not be busy. So that will be your Q. Now we have to add all this. So 1 minus 6C0. 1 by 415 raised to 0 and 14 by 15 raised to 6. 6C1. 1 by 15 raised to 1 and 14 by 15 raised to 5. 6C2. 1 by 15 raised to 2 and 14 by 15 raised to 4. So this will be our answer. If you want to simplify a little bit, you can by just simplifying it. 14 by 15 raised to 6 we will get here because this is 1, this is 1. Here what do you get? 6 and then into 14 by 5 raised to 15 by 6. And here what do you get? 6C2. Let's calculate. 6 into 5 upon 2, so that becomes 15. So 15 and one more 15 cuts out. So you get here 14 raised to 4 upon 15 raised to 5. So that will be the final answer. No need to take the LCM, just leave your answer here. Right? So that will be your final answer. Now let's move on to the next. If getting 5 or 6 in a throw of an unbiased die is a success, and the random variable x denotes the number of successes in 6 throws of a die, find p of x greater than equal to 4. Now greater than equal to 4 and 6 throws of a die are done. Right? So your n will be 6. Your r will be 4, 5 and 6. What will be your P? That is the probability of success. Your probability of success is getting 5 or 6 in a throw. 5 or 6 in a throw. So that will be how much? 2 by 6. That is 1 by 3. What will be your Q then? P by 2 by 3. Correct? Now that is what we have here, a simple question. Now random variable x is greater than equal to 4. So three cases will be there. That is x is equal to 4, x is equal to 5, and x is equal to 6. So these three are to be added up. Right? Now for 4 we have 64. 1 by 3 raised to 4, 2 by 3 raised to 2. And here we have 65, 1 by 4 raised to 5 and 2 by 4. And then we have 66, 1 by 4 raised to 6 into 2 by, sorry, why I have written 4 is 3. 2 by 3 raised to 2. Correct? 2 by 3 raised to 0. Correct? That it becomes. Make it more clearer. Okay, so this is 0. Now let's make it 64 ka value will be same as 62, which we just found it. So it was 15. Now here we have 2 square upon 3 raised to 6, we just found it before, that is 729. So 15 into 2 square into 729. Now what will you get here? Here you will get 65, which is 6 into 2 upon 3 raised to 6 plus 61 is 1. Then here we have 1 upon 3 raised to 6. Now let's add up all. So 729 is the LCM. 60 plus 12 plus 1. So you get 73 upon 729. Just check everyone. Correct? So this is the probability of getting the number of successes in 6 rows of time if we are counting 4 or greater than 4. Okay, 4 times or more than 4 times, you want 5 or 6. Correct? So that is what we have. See, calculations can be much simpler. Don't just panic. Yes, powers are there. How are we going to calculate? If numbers are easy, then we are calculating. Otherwise, leave your answers in power. Okay. Now, next. 8 coins are tossed simultaneously. Find the chance of getting at least 6 heads. Now, 8 coins are tossed. 6 heads. So, what will be the probability of getting a head? That will be always half. Probability of getting a tail. That will be always half. So P will be half, Q will also be half. Now 8 coins are tossed, so N is equal to 8. Chance of getting at least 6 heads. At least 6 heads means X is equal to 6, X is equal to 7, and X is equal to 8. All three cases are to be added up. So what do you get? 8C6. Now again I can write it directly 1 by 2 raised to 8 because probability of success and failure is same. So they will always add up to the power of 8, that is n. Now 8C7, 8C8. Now 1 by 2 raised to 8 if you take common. 8C6 का value you can calculate. तो 6 अगर आपने cancel किया so 8 into 7 and then you cancel it out. So you get 28. 8C8 is 8 and this is 1. 2 raised to 8 you all know. 256. 28 plus 9 is 37. So that's your answer. 37 by 256. So it will not take much time. Just understand the question. First thing in binomial is look for only 2 cases. If it is there, then you can think of. Then think of finite number of cases and then think the probability of success or failure should not change with the outcomes, with the number of trials, I mean. Now, 5 cards are drawn successively with replacement from a well shuffled deck of 52 cards. What is the probability that all the 5 cards are spades, only 3 are spades, and the none is a spade? Now, here, very important term is given. That is with replacement. What does it mean? With replacement, we mean that when we are taking out one card, okay, so now in the pack there will be 51 cards. So the point with replacement is before the second draw, we are keeping it back. That is, again, we are doing a draw out of 52 cards only. So एक डेक में कितने कार्ड्स होते हैं स्पेड के? 13. So in every trial you will have 13 cards. Otherwise the probability will change. Then it will not be a case of binomial. Because here with replacement is written, that is why it is a case of binomial distribution. With replacement means आपके जितने कार्ड्स पहले थे बैग में, ड्रॉ के बाद भी उतने ही हैं, बिकॉज यू आर कीपिंग इट बैक. Okay, every time you are drawing the cards out of 52, not 51, 50, 49, or so on. That is why your probability of getting a spade will always be the same. Now first let's work it out. What is the probability of getting a spade? How many spades are there in a pack of cards? 13, right? So 13 by 52, that is 1 by 4. Probability of not getting a spade. So you can get any of the other three suits, right? But not a spade. So that will be 3 by 4. What is your n? Your n is 5 draws. So n is 5. Now r will change according to the three cases. All the 5 cards are spades. So that is r is 5. Only 3 cards are spades. That is r is 3. None is a spade. R is 0. So we have to take three cases, R5, R3 and R0 for all the three. Now first case let's solve. 5C5, 1 by 4 raised to 5, 3 by 4 raised to 0. According to the formula, I'm writing the formula here. So PCR, P raised to R, Q raised to N minus R. This will be the formula for Px is equal to R. Now 5C5 is 1. So here we have 4 raised to 5, which you all know is 1024. That is 2 raised to 10, right? Very clearly to all. Now second case, only 3 are spade. So 5C3, 1 by 4 raised to 3, 3 by 4 raised to 2. Now 5C3 का value let's calculate. 5, 4, 3, 3 cancels out, and 2. So 10, correct? So here we get 10 into 9. 3 square is 9 and 4 raised to 5 is 1024. Let's work it out and cancel it. So you get 5 here and you get 512 here. So 45 upon 512. That will be your final answer. Now for the third case, R is 0. So we get 5C0, 1 by 4 raised to 0, 3 by 4 raised to 5. 5C0 is 1. This is also 1. So 3 raised to 5 upon 4 raised to 5. So 3 raised to 5 is how much? 243. Upon 4 raised to 5 is 1024. So to all, so this is the answer for the same. That is 243 upon 1024. Now let's move on to the next. A bag contains 7 red, 5 white, and 8 black balls. So 3 types of balls are there. If 4 balls are drawn one by one with replacement, again the word with replacement hits here, and it is with replacement, so it will be the case of binomial distribution. So what is the probability that none is white, all are white, and any two are white? Now the point is only we are concerned with the white ball. So what is the probability of getting white ball? Don't think there are three cases. No, there are only two cases. Either a white ball or not a white ball for us. So total balls are how many? 20. And what is the probability of getting a white ball? 1 by 4. Right? Now what is the probability of not getting a white ball? So not getting a white ball will be how much? 3 by 4. Your n is how much? 4 balls are drawn, right? And R will be according to the question. Now none is white. None is white means R is 0. All are white means R is 4. Any two are white. That is R is 2. Correct? Now let's take the cases. R is 0. So probability when X is equal to 0. So 4C0, P raised to R. 1 by 4 raised to R. So 3 by 4 raised to 4. Right? So what will you get? 1, 1, and 3 by 4 is 81, and 4 by 4, 4 raised to 4 is 256. So 81 by 256. Probability that all are white. So X is 4. So 4C4, 1 by 4 raised to 4, 3 by 4 raised to 0. So 4C4 is 1, 1 by 4 raised to 4 is 256. So we get 1 by 256 as the answer. And the last is any two are white. So we are concerned with 4C2, right? 1 by 4 raised to 2 and 3 by 4 raised to 2. So 4C2 will be how much? 4C2 will be 3 to the 6. So 1 by 4 raised to 4 into 9. So that comes out to be 54 upon 256. If you want to check, you can go with it 27 upon 128. That will be your final answer. Right? So this is how do we solve. These were the few questions for the addition by exercise in applied maths book. We'll be coming up with the rest of the questions. Right? So till then, study well and do these. And if you have liked it, please, if you have understood it well, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all.